It's April 2023 and I've sailed down Lake Zurich into the self-proclaimed City of Roses, Rapperswil. Rapperswil sits on the northern bank of Lake Zurich at the point where the lake is cut in two by the Seedam Isthmus, with the historic centre of the town, including the castle, on a peninsula that sticks out into the lake. The sea dam, formed by debris left over from the Ice Age, helps to split the Zurichsee into the upper lake that stretches about 28 kilometres northwest, all the way up to the city of Zurich, and what is normally meant when people refer to Lake Zurich, and the Obersee, that stretches 10 kilometres east from Rapperswil to the town of Pfäffikon. From the debris left behind, the sea dam forms the basis for multiple crossings over the lake, with road and rail links making the town an important transport hub. Whilst the Zurichsee sees most of the attention with the bulk of the town facing it, and with the regular ferry connections all the way up to Zurich, the lower part of the lake, the Obersee, is a much quieter area, home to swimming locations and a small boat marina. The Obersee is also the location of the Holzbrücke. The current incarnation of the bridge only dates from 2001, when a modern reinterpretation of it was built on the site of the original structure. Original wooden piles from the first bridge have been dated to 1523 BCE, showing the area has been inhabited for at least 3,500 years, with strong evidence going back to 5,000 years ago. The bridge was reconstructed multiple times, though historical records show that for at least part of the time ferries operated across the lake here, indicating that there hasn't permanently been a bridge here. A new wooden bridge was built around the middle of the 14th century, and this was in use right up until the completion of the stone bridge that now carries a road across the lake in 1878, at which point it was retired. Work started on the current bridge in August 2000, with the bridge officially opening on the 6th of April 2001. The construction of the bridge also helped re-establish a walkable link to the Heilig Hüsli, a small chapel located on an island in the lake a short distance from the Rapperswil banks. First mention of the chapel were in 1485, though inscriptions on the chapel date the current stone structure to 1551. The chapel sat on the Swiss feeder routes of the Camino de Santiago, or Way of St. James pilgrimage route that usually ends in Santiago de Compostela on the Spanish North Atlantic coast. From the island of the Heilig Hüsli, the Holzbrücke continues out over the waters of the Obersee before reaching the opposite bank at Hurden. One nod to modernity is a ramped incline at the Hurden end of the bridge that creates a channel large enough to let boats that can pass under the low road and rail bridges continue into the Obersee without needing to go over to the Pfäffikon bank and use the canal there to pass between the two portions of Lake Zurich. From the Rapperswil to Hurden banks, the Holzbrücke is approximately 850 metres long, and if you don't fancy walking back the way you came, or along the road bridge, you can take advantage of the half-hourly trains that run from Hurden back across the lake and into the centre of Rapperswil. The Romans renewed the Holzbrücke at least once around 165 AD, as the area was an important trading centre on the route towards the Roman heartlands on the other side of the Alps. The strategic importance of the location at a pinch point on the lake and the natural hill on the peninsula led to a castle being built in around 1200. And from there, the town has grown, initially around the base of the castle before extending out further. With flourishing trade, the town grew rich, and this is evident in the buildings in the heart of the town. With Swiss neutrality, the castle fell out of use and into disrepair. In 1870, the castle was leased for 99 years by a Polish emigre, Count Władysław Brol-Plata, who restored the castle at his own expense and opened the Polish National Museum inside the repaired building. Though the museum's time in the castle finally ran out in the 2010s when the government decided to evict the museum so the castle could be modernised and converted into a restaurant, a process that was still underway when I visited in 2023. From the castle grounds, it's clear to see why this spot was chosen for the castle, as there are excellent views across the lake in all directions. A short distance back down the hill from the castle, in the heart of the old town, are three very different buildings that make up the Stadtmuseum Rapperswil. The most obvious of the buildings is the Brenny Tower, which formed part of the town's fortification and served as a residential tower. Close by is the Brenny House, and linking the two is a small section of the town walls, now housed in a very modern link building that forms a connection between the two older buildings. The modern building contains the entrance to the museum, as well as a model of how the town would have looked in the past. In the upper floors you have access into the Brenny House, which has been restored to how it would have looked around the start of the 16th century. The Brenny Tower and loft space for the house contains exhibitions on the history of the town, including its connection to roses and its role as one of Switzerland's most fashionable tourist destinations in its heyday, as well as exhibits on the surprisingly industrial history of the town, being a big player in the plumbing and showers. Halfway down from the castle is the Rosengarten, a small enclosed garden that houses many of the rose bushes that the town is famous for, though in mid-April they were yet to be in bloom. Below both the castle and the rose garden is the cloisters of the Capuchin monastery, and at lake level a small spit of land that juts out into the lake, from where you can look over the larger island further up the lake, as well as across the town itself. A short walk along the lake shore leads you to the harbour, now the main ferry boarding point for the lake steamers that travel up and down Lake Zurich, but also a small marina for boats. Clearly visible from the harbour is the island of Ufenau. At more than 1 million square foot, Ufenau is the largest island in Switzerland, though that doesn't really say much as Hyde Park in London tops out at nearly 13 million square foot.
Nächster Halt, Pfäffikon, Endbahnhof. Wir bitten alle Reisenden auszusteigen und verabschieden uns von Ihnen.
The island is located about 2.5 kilometres from Rapperswil and 0.9 kilometres from Pfäffikon, linked by boat sailing between both. I chose to access the island by taking the more impressive route of going via the Seedam rail bridge round to Pfäffikon, walking down past the pretty mini castle to the lake's edge, before picking up the ferry across to the island. With a maximum elevation of 17 metres above lake level and just 470 metres east to west and 220 metres north to south, the island doesn't feel like the largest island in a country known for its stunning geology and geography. Evidence of Roman temples from the 1st and 2nd century have been found on the island, and a Christian church was built here sometime in the 5th or 6th century, with the first mention of the island being in 741. Sometime at the start of the 10th century, the churches were destroyed by the Huns in raids through this part of the country. In January 956, the island was given by Emperor Otto I to the Einsiedeln Abbey, who still today, more than 1,050 years later, own it. Today, the island is open to the public to explore, with the 1681 built Haus zu den Zwei Raben, or House of Two Ravens, located close to the middle of the island, having been converted to a restaurant. Alongside the House of Two Ravens, the island is also home to the Church of St Peter and Paul and the Chapel of St Martin. The Church of St Peter and Paul was built around 1141 and for hundreds of years was the parish church for people living in the surrounding villages of this part of Lake Zurich. The church was restored and renewed between 1958 and 1959. The neighbouring St Martin's Chapel is dated to the 7th century and is built on the site of the earlier Roman temples. The chapel was restored in 1933-34 and again in 1964-65. Rapperswil station has regular S-Bahn, Interregio and Intercity trains to Zurich Hauptbahnhof, taking between 30 and 60 minutes to make the journey. There's also a couple of lake steamers a day from Rapperswil up to Zurich, taking around 2 hours to sail up the length of the Zurichsee. Zurich Airport is Switzerland's main international airport with links across the globe.